Hello again, hockey fans. Are you ready to brave the wild? With me, your host, Paladino Joey, or Joey Awajan. Brave the Wild is available on all of your favorite podcasting apps, and I thank each and every one of you once and always for downloading and listening to this show. It is a great pleasure to be back on board with you once again today, and we were also proud members of the Hockey Podcast Network, also known as THPN, coming out of Vancouver, British Columbia. I want to thank Dylan and Kyle once and always for having me on board that wonderful network and website. And again, it is a great pleasure to be back on board with you once again today. The Minnesota Wild continue their push forward. They're playing some some strong hockey, beating Calgary, Edmonton, Montreal, and Nashville. The Minnesota Wild get 8 of 8 possible points heading into the break. And of course, we have now ventured into the 400s, episode 401. So now we're on the trek to episode 500. Ooh, that's a milestone. 400 is pretty cool, but 500's got this big round figure to it, halfway to 1,000 and all that. And oh yeah, I plan to get Brave the Wild to get to 1,000. Got to have some nice playoff runs to have extra episodes, and maybe a nice Stanley Cup celebration, or 3 or 4, or at least one at the very least. We got to get something, you know. At least St. Louis has one Stanley Cup now. They waited 50 years to get that. We've waited longer because the North Stars existed the same year the the St. Louis Blues did, and then we had our 7-year tribulation of hockey with no team here. But anyhow, I digress. Minnesota Wild again, wonderful, wonderful heading into the break. You just hope it doesn't slow things down at some point, but it better not at the end of the day. Minnesota Wild in second place in the whole Western Conference, 1 point ahead of the Dallas Stars, but of course the Stars have a game in hand, and Colorado's got 3 games in hand. The Wild trail Colorado by only 5 points, but again, Colorado's played 3 less games, but looking extremely strong heading into the break, 34, 14, and 10. As now, it is time for U.S. Olympic hockey to get their butts in gear. Honestly, what classic video game do you think of most when you think of Olympic hockey? It's ice hockey. It's got to be, right? Ice hockey on the NES, which of course is we have a theme that we play heading into fan interaction every single show. Every single show. That's that classic. That's when you're actually playing. But then there's the title screen, which I just played. And I also added the win, like imagining if we actually win the gold medal, that'll be playing in the next episode. And we being the United States, I still am proud of the United States, proud to be part of the United States. I'm not the people out there like chuckling when Canada beat the U.S. and was it the 4-nation tournament. Like, oh, I kind of chuckled. Yeah, screw you. You know what I mean? That's stupid. So I'm not a fan of that kind of attitude. So, but anyhow, enough of that. That's as far as I'm going to go on this particular episode, or on any episode of Brave the Wild. If you want a political view, there's other shows for that. So anyhow, apologize. So 4 games to review, 0 games. We're going to preview 0 games in this one. We'll probably jump in. Well, we're going to jump in at the end of the month, of course, coming back to maybe review those. I don't think we'll preview them at the end of the month, depending on how that schedule is. It's kind of it starts right about on time for maybe previewing a new episode. Otherwise, we might not be back until March. So Thursday actually would be possibly the next episode, Thursday the 26th. And of course, if the U.S. wins the gold, we'll probably have a special episode for that. There won't be any major trade or anything because everything's frozen now. The Minnesota Timberwolves made a trade this morning, not for Giannis, the Greek freak, but I think it's because, well, the possibility that trade may have kind of died off here because the Milwaukee Bucks wanted like 9 million draft picks. Imagine that, which is, whatever. That's dumb. So Timberwolves made a trade for a 26-year-old guard and another one with the Chicago Bulls. So it doesn't look like a bad trade. You look at it, it's like, oh, okay. So is it I can't say the name properly. I know the player, but the pronunciation, okay, so, and we have that issue in hockey quite often with certain goaltenders in Iowa, and obviously especially certain ones in Utah and such, with really super long names and stuff. This one's interesting as well. But anyhow, sorry, I'm going on and on and on about whole lot of hullabaloo. The Minnesota Wild, we have a battle versus Alberta, not in Alberta all the way. This one was in Xcel Energy Center, where the next one was in Alberta versus Edmonton. The Wild success rate versus Edmonton lately has been very high. The historical success rate versus Calgary has been extremely low. But the Minnesota Wild showed up to play in Grand Casino Arena and got the job done 4-1 over the Calgary Flames last Thursday. That felt really good, to be quite honest. And Calgary's been playing a little better. They're closer to 500. It's kind of sad. I mean, it's a franchise that you think there should be more going on. You know, I mean, it's the Calgary Flames. I always remember them as a team that you'd respect, but of course that was early in my hockey watching life when they were like really up there. Obviously, the '86 Stanley Cup finals, as we like to call it. I think it sounds better. Losing to the Montreal Canadiens. 3 years later, they beat the Montreal Canadiens for their only Stanley Cup in 1989, and stayed pretty good for a while until about 93, 94ish, when just, I don't know, pretty much ever since then, the Flames have had a lot more downs than ups. Like the old song, sometimes ups outnumber the downs, but not in Nottingham. the old Robin Hood cartoon, but yeah, but not in Calgary either. Downs have definitely outnumbered the ups in Calgary, though a couple of good runs. But one in particular losing, unfortunately, to Tampa in the Cup Finals. We still called it that at the time. But a 4-1 win. I'm babbling again. Kirill Kaprizov, another multi-point game. He's got about 1,000 of those. 1 goal, 1 assist. And, yep, continuing to climb up. Quinn Hughes gets an assist at least every game, if not 3 or 4. Damon Hunt adding an assist along the way. And he's been looking more and more and more like the kind of guy that should stay at the NHL level, I think. Very happy the Minnesota Wild do have Damon Hunt on the roster and have been actually playing him rather than just, well, you know, sorry, but you're the 7th guy. You know, that's dumb. You know, go make some popcorn if you can. That'd be appreciated. 5th assist on the year for Damon Hunt. Tarasenko continues to be a part of things. Very happy to have him around, and Danilo Yurov adding his 8th goal of the season. Really hope he's not a part of any type of a trade along the way. Really strongly hope that. Kirill Kaprizov currently at 70 points, by the way, after the recent couple of games, and Matt Boldy's spectacular hat trick against Nashville. He's got 32 goals. Both of them have 32 goals in the season. Kirill Kaprizov has 8 more assists along the way. Quinn Hughes, 34 points as a member of the Wild, but what is he at, like 57 overall? The numbers are just ridiculous, and we're going to talk quite a bit about Hughes along the way. In fact, there's going to be a little conversation about the best defenseman in Wild history. I think he is number 43 already. It didn't take long. You just hope that the Minnesota Wild can re-sign him. At the time, I was tweeting out that Quinn Hughes is on pace for 79 points. But, of course, again, some of those points were not as a member of the Wild. So it's like, damn it. Quinn Hughes still might eclipse Ryan Suter's franchise record of 51. I thought somebody had more, or even I thought Ryan Suter had more in one of the seasons, like 55, 56. But no, never did happen. Quinn Hughes is right now projected for 81 points. 81 points. That is nuts. Insane. That's a defenseman, by the way. That's, Cale Makar-ish level. I mean, yeah, it's Cale Makar level. Like when they say he's like right there with Cale Makar, like the best, the 2 best defensemen in the entire NHL. Good news is they're both from the United States, and Brock Faber's from the United States. He's on pace for 50 plus. Actually projected to edge the franchise record, and these all would be with Minnesota, by the way, this season. He's on pace to edge Ryan Suter's record at 52. So, I mean, it's just really cool, man. I mean, 2 of the best defensemen in Wild history. Apparently, apparently at least one person saying that basically the disrespect for Jared Spurgeon, because I did not include him in the poll. Instead of doing a bat signal, I did a poll this week, because, sometimes it gets like more variety of responses and such. And polls are fun. So it is what it is there. Maybe I could have done a little both. I did put Brodin in there. Maybe I should have. Maybe I should have put Spurgeon there. But Brodin, I think, is a better defenseman than Jared Spurgeon. He just can't freaking stay healthy. Oh, and by the way, Spurgeon didn't stay healthy for a while either. So, I mean, the argument is kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of offset, isn't it? It's kind of offset. They're both kind of, I don't know, have had injury issues and whatever. No disrespect. Both really nice players, Spurgeon and Jonas Brodin. That's for the fan interaction segment anyway. I'm kind of jumping ahead. Yeah. Oh, millisecond off topic. Yeah, the Gophers losing to Penn State in basketball on the on the road a couple days ago. A team that hadn't won a single Big Ten game, and they turn around and beat Michigan State, the number 10 team in the country. A couple of days later, it's like, okay. So I don't know. I just think that's crazy. Thought I would bring that up for the hell of it. I don't know why, but I just did, I guess. But yeah, an entertaining, fun. Well, not entertaining. It wasn't like the best quality of hockey, but the Wild pull away and win 4-1. Bottom line. And if you like offense, well, yeah, it was a barn burner in Rogers Place. Edmonton Oilers. Well, the two-time now back-to-back. We'll say they've won more conference championships than two. Obviously, they won 5 Stanley Cups in the four in the 80s and then one at the very beginning of the 90s, beating the Boston Bruins, the 89-90 Edmonton Oilers. By the way, that was kind of half of the 80s there, or like half of the year was still in the 80s, hanging on. It's always impressive. That's the one a lot of people, might overlook a tiny bit. Like, yeah, the Oilers actually did win one without Gretzky, so it's pretty damn impressive. Mark Messier's got 6 Stanley Cups. That's pretty sick. Yes, they won 2 consecutive Western Conference championships, or Campbell Conference, as I like to call it, because it's still the Campbell Trophy. 28, 22, and 8, and the Wild currently 34, 14, and 10. 20 games above 500. In hockey, that's pretty good, by the way, with that stupid tie, overtime loss thing. It's not a tie. But a 7-3 barn burner back and forth. Fun, entertaining game, but definitely much more one-sided in favor of the Minnesota Wild. Jesper Wallstedt did face 42 shots, but stopped 39 of them. And the Wild were able to score 7 goals in the game. Obviously, guys like Connor McDavid were -3, and it was obviously guys probably pissed off. I mean, McDavid only a -3 and only 1 assist in the game. Can imagine his frustration in this one, but it is what it is. And he actually took a pay cut, significant pay cut, on his current short-term contract to hopefully free up some space for Edmonton to make some moves to finally win a Stanley Cup again. Kristen Yeri only faced 20 shots, but gave up 5 goals. Connor Ingram faced 9 shots and gave up 2. So all those goals were earned, of course. There was no empty net nonsense, which could obviously happen. Kelvin Pickard has been up and down, definitely kind of disappointing at times. At Mangiapane changing his Alberta colors, going from Calgary to the Edmonton Oilers, which in some groups would say that is sacrilegious. You just can't do that. It's kind of like the Viking-Packer thing, but I suppose several players have gone back and forth between those two teams as well. So it does happen. A fun night, though, for Minnesota, obviously on the road. Again, there were some boos in the audience, and understandably, Jewelers and
Nobody does selling better than Shopify. Shopify is the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret, with Shop Pay that boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts go abandoned and way more sales going through. So if you're into growing your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling. On the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more, sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout that Skims uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period for 3 months at shopify.com/Westwood1, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Westwood1 to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/Westwood1.
with the multi-point games, Zuccarello with 2 points, goal and an assist, each for those guys, helping carry this team forward. Ryan Hartman was a +3 along with Zuccarello, and Hughes was a +4 to a goal and an assist. His 5th goal of the season. Quinn Hughes with one of his rare goals. He gets about 100,000 assists, and pretty much is in a lot of ways, he's the captain of the offense. And spoiler alert, there's a pretty high probability that Quinn Hughes at the end of the season is going to be called the most valuable player for Minnesota. Yes. Yep. As great as Kaprizov has been, I think Quinn Hughes has, at least for this year, at the bare minimum for this year, is most likely going to be the MVP for this team this year. Quinn Hughes has been that incredible, and what a revelation he's truly been. He's on an 80-plus point pace, and keep it up, buddy. That's all I got to say there. Brock Faber also adding yet another goal. He's on a high a pace for a career high. His previous career high was 10. Well, and he's already passed it, but just saying, he's on pace to continue to push that forward, maybe even 20 goals on the season. That's his 12th goal of the year, him being Brock Faber along the way. Quinn Hughes is 5th, but I'm not complaining about the lack of goals necessarily because he's provided so many. And ironically, who do you think assisted on Quinn Hughes' goal? One single player. Who assisted? Brock Faber. Isn't that cool? And he's on pace for 52 points on the season. Tarasenko adding his 14th, and again, he's been a wonderful renaissance. He only had 11 goals all last season, already 14 here, versus, getting his 14th anyway, versus the Edmonton Oilers. And Tyler Pitlick adding his 2nd on the season. We all appreciate that for the most part. Tyler Pitlick kind of hanging on, scratches. Nico Sturm, for some reason Sturm, but maybe like hurt a bit. That's why you were going to see Mr. Pitlick out there. Matt Kierstad's the 7th defenseman, Minnesota native as well. But nice to see Wallstedt stepping up in a big way. Some people thought he's had his ups and downs and such, but the only bad part is he's going to the Olympics. It's good for him. It's an honor, I'm sure, especially somebody that young representing his country. But it's like, it probably would be better to see him kind of clear his mind and relax. But I doubt he's going to be in the net the whole time, and that's the last thing they probably want. He's definitely not going to be in the net the whole time, and I don't think Gustafsson will either. And Gustafsson is maybe at this point in his career, of course, a little bit smoother between the ears, so to speak, because he's so young. Juracek also has been showing some encouraging signs. He's not been really all that pathetic. He's not been spectacular either, but certainly, unfortunately, has not been providing the points. But there is talk in the organization that they still have positive feelings about him, and it's not just kind of like, just kind of a fake, like, desperation kind of positivity, but they still feel that he has a nice future in this franchise, but maybe not as high as initially thought, like a top pair kind of guy. At best, maybe the, second pair. And I don't know, right now he's on the 3rd pair with Hunt, and those two guys have played fairly well together, to be quite honest. So we'll continue again. Hughes in favor, though. I mean, might have the 2 best defensemen in franchise history playing together, and the opportunity to possibly play together for like a decade or longer. Wouldn't that be wouldn't that be amazing? I hope that could happen. Please resign. Please resign Quinn Hughes. Oilers, though, 7-3 game there. We love that. Montreal, another overtime game. 2 overtime games heading into the break. Minnesota might hold the NHL record for overtime games by the end of the season. It just might happen. I think how they're headed there. Oh, man. A back and forth kind of a game. Minnesota going up 2-0, watching the lead evaporate, much to our chagrin, and actually going down 3-2. Joel Eriksson opening things up with his 15th goal. Kirill, and this is 38 seconds into the game, so it's like, hell yeah, here we go. This is awesome. And Joel Eriksson too, a guy he's easily to root for if he's your guy. Not easy to root for if he's on the other side, of course. But not that it's anything personal, it's just business type of thing. But he's been, obviously, when healthy, Joel Eriksson is as valuable as it gets on this team. Like 3 players that you just absolutely must have in the lineup all the time. Kirill Kaprizov, Quinn Hughes, Joel Eriksson, and it's like, obviously you'd love to have Jonas Brodin healthy. That would be great. And again, that's why, he's one of the top defensemen in franchise history as far as I'm concerned, because when Brodin is out, you miss him. Spurgeon, of course we missed him too, but I think you miss Brodin more. I just do. That's how I see it. We definitely appreciate Spurgeon, and no major disrespect heading his way, to say the least. This was a entertaining game, but scary, watching the Wild give up 3 goals in a row to Gallagher, Demidov, and Kirby Dach with his 7th goal of the year. Suzuki's had a strong season. 47 points on the year. Lane Hudson's 48 assists on the season. And then Faber tying things up. Well, still quite a bit of time remaining in the 3rd period, though, about 13 minutes. So it's not like, oh man, oh man, what a miracle. The Wild tied it up at the last second. Nope, 13 minutes. And then the 2 teams exchanged opportunities after that, back and forth. But also as you get closer and closer to the end, teams tend to kind of play careful rather than aggressively. and you end up, going to overtime all the time because of that. And I think some fans are frustrated because you don't get a real excited brand of hockey the last 2 minutes sometimes in regulation when it's tied. The Faber goal was spectacular, though. I mean, the way he just it was just kind of a determination type of a play. He just kind of, the way he jumped up and he had the puck and he was like, no, I'm going to tie this game right here. And it was beautiful. He just attacked at the net, and it was awesome. 13th goal of the season. You're seeing a Brock Faber with confidence to score more than he ever has before, and he's becoming not only a spectacular defenseman, which he's been since he got here from the Gophers. He already was projected to be something pretty special, but he's looking like he could be a many-time All-Star, I think, in this league, and I think he should. I think Brock Faber should be an All-Star for many years in this league, and Quinn Hughes, it's of course, future Hall of Famer without a doubt, and Faber might even be if he continues on the projection that he's on, because I think Faber could be a 50-point defenseman for many years, also while playing outstanding defense. Some guys get their 50, 60, 70 points, but they're mediocre defensively at best. Can't say that about Quinn Hughes, and absolutely can't say that about Brock Faber defensively. Carrell then won it in overtime again. Kind of a long-distance goal, but we'll take it. And, nothing wrong with it at all. It was a quick release. It was well-timed, and, of course, very well-placed. As Matt Boldy slid the puck over. I thought more players should have had an assist on this one, but only Boldy officially got the assist. But Carrell, again, powering it in with a wrister. A few feet in front of the blue line. He wasn't that far away, but I don't know the exact distance, so I apologize for that. But again, nice quick release and well placed for his 32nd goal of the year on the power play in the overtime period, and the Minnesota Wild emerged victorious over the Montreal Canadiens. And this was in Xcel Energy Center, by the way. So Wild lose in Montreal earlier in overtime, win this one in overtime in Grand Casino. It would be a spectacular Stanley Cup final if it took place between Montreal and Minnesota. That would be fun. Got to get it done, though, right? That's kind of a Blades of Steel Cup finals right there. Montreal and Minnesota, because they're both in it. Montreal is really tough in that game because back in the late 80s, Montreal was an intimidating force. They were really, 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 really good. And that team stayed good up until 93, when they were the last team to win the Stanley Cup from Canada, and they won their 24th as a franchise. Again, Montreal also won in 86 over Calgary, which you heard earlier. A back-and-forth barn burner, Wednesday, February the 4th, heading into the break. Yes, the break. It's going to be very long until February 26th. So it's going to be, 3 weeks? Literally 3 weeks, 21 days from the 5th to the 26th. So, yeah, enjoy the break, I suppose. Well, and hopefully the U.S. wins the gold this time. Don't lose in overtime to the Canadians. And I often talk about how I kind of like the Canadian NHL teams. Like, I like Calgary, Edmonton, teams like that. I like to see them succeed. I think it's good for the NHL. A lot of people are like, oh, why do you care about that? You only want the U.S. teams to win. I think it's hilarious that Canada hasn't won the Stanley Cup since '93. No, I mean, it's okay. It's I get it. I can get that. At the same time, the Canadian team that I never want to win is the actual Olympic team. And the one in Four Nations, which is basically the same group. No, you don't want that team to win. They've got enough gold medals and such. It'd be nice to see the U.S. finally get another one for the first time since 1980. So that's been a long wait. It was 1960 and 1980. You thought that 20-year drought was a long time? How about a 46-year one? So, yeah, that's a 46-year drought. Jared Spurgeon's number right there. And Spurgeon, though, is from Canada, not from, he's from Edmonton, basically, not from the United States. But Faber and Hughes are from the United States, and I can see those guys wearing the gold medal around their neck. I can see it, and I'm praying it does happen, without a doubt. Minnesota ties, of course, in Nashville. Of course, they're going to be, and at least they're above 500, but in hockey, that doesn't guarantee a damn thing at all. 26, 23, and 7. Love Andrew Brunette, of course, there's your Minnesota tie. That's one of them. Eric Holla also, and he scored a goal in the game. In Nashville, of course, there were lots of ties, even for a short period. Obviously, Ryan Suter was a Nashville Predator for years. And, of course, Paul Fenton was our GM for like a year. No, yeah, 1 year, one season, one full season with Minnesota, and he was let go because I don't know, death by 1,000 cuts. similar in terms of like 1,000 cuts, similar, when Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah was fired last Friday. He was still the general manager of the Vikings. Of course, he got fired. You've heard about it all week, off and on, unless you've been living in a cave. But a similar situation in terms of it wasn't just one or two things. It was several things. Just the bad drafting, taking 2 weeks off during the training camp for paternity. I'm sorry, it's a different kind of job. It's training camp. You got to be evaluating the roster. It's okay to take a day or two, but 2 weeks. So people were pretty annoyed with that. And Paul Fenton's was always kind of vanishing and acting kind of weird and such, and getting pissed off at people all the time, threatening their jobs. So obviously there was a million reasons why he got fired. But let's digress back to the Wild. Sorry, going off on rabbit trails because I'm thinking of the Nashville Predators here. Like our owner was the Nashville Predators owner, so before Minnesota. Matt Boldy opened things up and continued to open things up. Multiple goals to start the game, putting the Wild up 2-0. But little did we know what kind of a back and forth battle this was going to be. Boldy getting his 30th and 31st, saying, "Hey, Kirill Kaprizov's got 32 and I got 29. I'm coming, Kirill. Objects in your mirror are closer than they appear," and boy were they. Boldy opening things up very early in the game and making it 2-0. Before some fans may have been in their seats. 3 minutes and 39 seconds. It was 2-0 Minnesota, both scored by Matt Boldy, future Olympic gold medalist. Damn it. Anyway. Yep, he's going to get it. From Massachusetts, of course. Philip Forsberg has been a nightmare for the Minnesota Wild forever and ever and ever, be it in the shootout or regular goals. I mean, this has been a dramatic back and forth series between Minnesota and Nashville all time. It has been very dramatic, especially the last 5-ish or so years. But yeah, it's been very dramatic. Forsberg's 24th goal of the year. Boldy's second goal was also on the power play. Marcia Schulte, former Florida Panther and Vegas Golden Knight and Conn Smythe winner. Only 6 assists on the season. Marcia Schulte getting a 6th and 7th assist along the way. Assisting on Eric Haula's 9th goal of the year. Former Gopher and Minnesota Wild and Vegas Golden Knight and the Boston Bruins and the New Jersey Devils. And I think, wasn't he with Pittsburgh too? He's been everywhere. But God bless the guy. Wasn't he a 7th round pick by the Wild too? So what a great draft pick. But and when you want to laugh at the GM sometimes with some of their funny picks, sometimes a blind squirrel finds a nut too. Yeah, 7th round pick. And that was at the very beginning of Mr. Chuck Fletcher's career. Eric Haula is now 34. Man, wonderful player on the Gophers. Man, 2012 and 2013 were pretty good teams too with the Gophers. Man, Eric Haula, 28 points on the season, already 7 more than last year with New Jersey. Interesting. Yep, he'd been with New Jersey for 3 years. Boston, he was with Nashville a few years back as well, way back in 2021. Florida Panthers for a second before they won the Cup. Yeah, Carolina, that's right. That was the other team he was on. So he's been a bit of a journeyman, but a pretty good one, to be quite fair. 40-point seasons, 30-point seasons. Definitely on pace for 40 this year. 55 with Vegas. Yep, that first year when they went to the Cup final, whatever. 29 goals. Unfortunately, has never returned to that kind of form, and he had a nasty injury early, I believe, with the Vegas that next year. So that was a huge crying shame. I think it was an ACL, I think, if I remember correctly. So, oh boy, I like Eric Haula. Always been a fan. Wish he could have came back, but that never ended up coming to fruition. And it is what it is, you know. It is what it is. Boldy, though, again would complete the hat trick after Forsberg's 24th goal of the year to make it 2-1 at the time. Boldy, 3-1 Minnesota. So it wasn't a true, what do they call that? A true hat trick where it's like you score all 3 goals in a row, nobody else scores in between for your team or the other team. So close to it, 3 out of 4 right there. But Boldy with his 3rd goal of the game, hat trick. This was his 4th assist. Had a couple in 2023, so he didn't have one last year at the end of the day. But obviously it's been a hell of a career for Boldy, and he's on pace for incredible numbers, 45, 50 goals on the season. So overall, his hat trick history, well, they were there. I had them all up, which is really frustrating. Well, his most recent one was on March 27th, 2023. There, this time it's more properly up there. First hat trick was February 14th, Happy Valentine's Day versus the Detroit Red Wings. 12 2022. I hope I said that correctly. A 7-2 win over Detroit. Second hat trick was versus the Philadelphia Flyers, March 22nd, 2023. Yep, kind of a back and forth crazy game there. A 5-1 win over Seattle. Third hat trick, like I said recently, March 27th. So, yeah, that was the March of Boldy, I think. Or did he? Well, he had a couple of good marches, but this one was a huge one. 22-23 was when Boldy really started to emerge. And like, holy cow, this guy's on his way to being a legitimate like star winger in this league. He had 2 hat tricks in the time of about a week there, March 22nd, March 27th, 2023. This is his first hat trick since then. Pretty crazy. I thought he had 2 versus Nashville, but that's okay. Doesn't matter. 4 hat tricks on his career. Matt Boldy, absolutely great. And he also added an assist along the way for a 4-point night. And yeah, Matt Boldy definitely on a run. That was for the game-winning goal. Vlad Tarasenko. Brendan also had a nice play, kind of a bouncing puck, and rebounded and finished it for his 5th goal of the season to tie things up after Nashville went on a run there. After the Wild took a 3-1 lead, Nashville would score 3 times in a row, similar to the Montreal game just a couple nights ago. And it's like, dang, we're down 4-3. What the heck? And it was early in the second. Like, what happened here? Like, it was just like a tornado. About a 5-minute span, Nashville would score 3 goals late in the first into early second. And all of a sudden, the Wild are on 4-3. And it's like, what's happening? This is rough. This is a rough game all of a sudden. And, well, Nashville would score again after Vladimir Tarasenko, obviously training again, tying things up several minutes later after a back-and-forth second period. And then Tarasenko would add his 15th. Danilo Yurov with an assist along the way there. Possible future Wild center Ryan O'Reilly, at least getting a couple of assists in this one. 3 assists for him. Actually, a very strong night, getting up to 36 assists on the season. Wouldn't mind him with Minnesota. Obviously, he would be a nice. He'd be a huge addition, and with the way the Wild are playing, he'd probably be a spectacular addition. Roman Josi again tying things up with about 4 minutes remaining. I was like, here we go, and it's in Nashville. They have all the momentum, 5-5. Come on, guys. Why can't you just hang on and win this thing? But nope. But thankfully, the Wild would escape. Wild would have an opportunity. Boldy moving the puck, Kaprizov sliding it forward. Jared Spurgeon being aggressive and getting a golden opportunity. Kind of an open look at the goaltender. Perfect line of sight on the wrister, releasing it for his 6th goal of the season. And the Wild emerged victorious. And it is kind of funny how I put out the poll and somebody said such disrespect for Jared Spurgeon. And it's like, well, I guess that's Jared Spurgeon saying, yeah, don't forget about me, you son of a gun. And the Edmonton native winning the game for Minnesota. And I can imagine people maybe that may have seen my poll chuckling at that Jared Spurgeon would get the game winner on the same day. But that figures. That's how brave the Wild works. You call somebody a James Shepard Memorial type of guy, and then he ends up having a great game. And I certainly didn't do that to Jared Spurgeon here. But nice win for Minnesota regardless. Time to pass out the award. And, of course, we'll get more topical, and again, keeping up with the youngsters as well. That'll still be a segment number 2 coming up to keep up with the youngsters. I might even do short episodes to keep up with them during the course of the break. We'll see. It's kind of like, why not, We'll see. Keep up with the youngsters and such, and maybe at the Olympics or whatever. We're talking about the Timberwolves trades, too. No, just kidding. With that, the Mike Modano Award winner for this episode, I would say Kirill Kaprizov had some great games. Quinn Hughes, all over the place. I mean, how many assists did he have in this one? Two more. And he's just having an unbelievable season. I believe he's at, 57 points on the season, 52 assists. 57 points on the season. Like, just right now, if he was on the Wild the whole time, 57 points. Well, Ryan Suter, that record when you had 51 points years ago? Gone. Yeah, so it's crazy. And I don't even necessarily mean to trash on Suter. I know I am with a lot of you, and especially a lot of the stories you've heard that he wasn't a good teammate at all. And in fact, he probably hurt the team more than helped in a lot of ways. Yeah, he really did. Selfish about ice time, and then he's magically tired and gassed when it's overtime and we lose. Same with Parise. It's just, it makes you angry. So when they were bought out, it was like, wahoo. But again, I don't necessarily want to trash on him either. It does, like, what good does that do? Mike Modano Award winner is Matt Boldy. Great week, and how could I not give it to him? Obviously, again, an up and down, an overall great week is what I'm trying to say, and a hat trick in a game that was crazy and back and forth and frustrating. It's like without Matt Boldy, the Wild probably don't win this game. I mean, he was utterly spectacular. 4 assists, or 4 points in the game, 3 goals and 1 assist. Sorry, the constant noise in the background is driving me nuts. But anyhow, the goal that the hat trick, his 4th hat trick in his career. Obviously, it's been, he's had a nice start to his career, and Boldy's on his way to, well, could it be safe to say, finally safe to say, superstardom. I've been very, very conservative about going about that. I've been very reluctant to call him a superstar, but I think he's on his way now, and knock on wood that I'm going to be right, finally. At the end of the day, that I'm going to be with a lot of you that did say it, and we're all going to be right. So the James Shepard Memorial, some of the back and forth moments that were frustrating. I don't really want to pick on anybody in this one. It was just a wonderful overall week. I don't know. I can't really do that. Maybe general goaltending could have been better in these games. Gustafsson giving up 5 goals, not the best. He stopped 30 of 35. Not the best goaltending this week, generally speaking, but certainly not the worst. I mean, it could be better. Maybe a super gentle one. I mean, Gustafsson, some of the goals here were frustrating at the end of the day. They felt a little soft. So maybe like this game kind of got the award and demerit for both players, because it was the feature presentation of the week, whether we liked it or not. Like, it should be the Edmonton game in terms of just overall like quality, a 7-3 win. Hell yes. But this was a feature presentation in terms of just, it was kind of a little bit of everything, good, bad, and ugly, but but definitely good. Won out in the end. So a very gentle James Shepard Memorial heading towards Philip Gustafsson in this one. With that, we'll take a quick break, come back, and look at the prospects. And we are back here on Brave the Wild, segment number 2. No previews, but we're going to look at the prospects. Just say the upcoming games real quick, just to say what they are. Eventually, Colorado and Utah to wrap up the month of February. And eventually St. Louis, Tampa Bay, and so on and so forth. That would probably be the next show. Probably reviewing those maybe on March the 5th, I think. Man, it might be a month till the next episode, but we'll probably talk about something here or there. We'll probably jump in and have some conversations, other than maybe Timberwolves trades or the Patriots winning the Super Bowl, hopefully. Yeah, that's for those other shows. But first of all, before we jump into the prospects, we're going to hear from DraftKings right here and right now. Super Bowl 60, speaking of football, deserves a sports book built for the moment. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 60, puts you right in the center of the biggest game of the year. Anything can happen during the Super Bowl, like a last-second interception by New England, and DraftKings has your back with early exit. If your player goes down in the first half, you still get paid in cash when your bet settles. No bonus bets, no waiting. While other sports books don't offer injury protection, DraftKings covers the entire first half, even second quarter. And early exit works on live bets too. Pre-game or in-game DraftKings has you covered. So obviously love it. Looking forward to the rematch of the Super Bowl 11 years ago, and I'm still cheering for the same team. Not a Seattle fan. God bless Sam Darnold, though. Loved him with the Vikings last year. Hated the ending of the season. I understood the organization's decision at the time. It turns out that it was the wrong decision, and it's unfortunate, but really it kind of is what it is, and it just kind of is what it is at the end of the day. But cheering for New England, definitely. You don't have to worry about Spygate. You don't have to worry about Deflategate. And I still liked Belichick and Brady, to be quite honest. But it's going to be a fun matchup. And I do believe the Patriots, personally, win this 1 in 3. It's up to you what you decide. And that's what DraftKings is for. Go out there and get your victory. New to DraftKings, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if if your bet wins. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code XXX. That's code XXX, or you could say THPN, I do believe is what we're really using. They might have accidentally left that out. So THPN to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. And in Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. Wager tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. 21 plus in most states. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets, which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gambling resources, see dkng.com/audio. Limited time offer. Copyright 2026. Apologize if that was a little sloppy, but the things were kind of changed a bit and maybe missing on that one, so my apologies there. So now we will jump into the the prospects. Again, apologize if that came off as sloppy. I really do, because it's definitely not what I'm looking for at the end of the day. The Iowa Wild, as we'll attempt to go there here shortly. Obviously, they've had their ups and downs all season. Liam Ogren's now at 9 points with Vancouver, just bringing him up. I tend to go to Liam Ogren to be able to get to Iowa. David Spacek with 20 points on the season thus far in 37 games. Jerry Mayhew is leading the club in scoring, but he's 32. So that's, what it is at the end of the day. Hunter Haight, 15 points, 10 goals, 5 assists in 30 games. So half a point a game, and he's a minus 12. And Forsey Mayhew is a minus 15. So that kind of sucks at the end of the day. Ben Jones is actually a really good minor leaguer. Again, those quad A players. 11 points in 12 games, and he's even. He's even, so he's actually really good there. Carson Lambos chipping away slowly but surely, and yes, he's a minus 5. That's not bad on a team in Iowa, like in a team in Iowa where they've been losing like crazy. 5 goals, 7 assists for 12 points in 41 games. Riley Heidt is a minus 16, 14 points on the season in 42 games. I do believe I said Hunter Haight is a minus 12, so not the best numbers you ever saw. Jack Pert, where'd he go? There he is. My apologies. Yeah, he's at 10 points now. He's been adding a couple here and there. 36 games now at 10 points on the season, so double digits, minus 13. He's been getting a bit better. He had a really rocky start to the season. No offensive numbers whatsoever, and also like minus 16, minus 18 is like, oh man. So he's been quietly inching forward, and that's encouraging. That's an encouraging sign for 22 years old from Grand Rapids, Minnesota. Kaden Bankier is also 22 years of age. He's a center, also with 10 points and a minus 9 on the season. So some ups and downs. Definitely some guys showing semi-encouraging signs. Nothing all that spectacular. Cal Peterson, I guess, is out, and that's unfortunate. It's pretty much been Talav the whole way here. 3.33 goals against average, 5 goals, 9 assists. 88.5 save percentage for him. Peterson has been out. Mercer's back down to the ECHL, and his numbers aren't all that great down there. I'd like to see more of Riley Mercer, honestly. At the end of the day, I think he's encouraging. He's a young, encouraging player, undrafted, one of those kind of guys. So Iowa, well, again, like I said, inching forward slightly, and that's about it. Nothing all that exciting at the end of the day. So, Ryan Healy, Harvard, at 9 points, and he's at even, which is better than he's had his whole collegiate career in Harvard, a senior year. 9 points, 22 games for him so far. He did have that jump up in points as a sophomore 2 years ago, but a minus 26. Holy crap. So, maybe maybe I should focus on defense a little better, huh? Regular Rens, Denver, obviously a national title threat every year. Well, he's about to eclipse last year's total of 20. He took a step back last year. Huge step forward as a sophomore. 30 points. And, yeah, plus 21 that year. He's a plus 10 this year, regular Rens, and 19 points on the season. So, looking encouraging in 29 games. Senior year for him, of course, like I just said. Jimmy Clark, he is in his junior year with the University of Minnesota Gophers, who jumped up and maybe heard Brave the Wild, hearing me kind of semi-trash them last week. like gently trashed them. I was disappointed. They swept the Wisconsin Badgers, and in a spectacular style, one of the goals during the course of the weekend wound up on Sports Center. So that was exciting. Nice to see the Gophers go from awfully terrible to all of a sudden a spectacular performance versus the Wisconsin Badgers. Would like to see a little more consistency, but that was nice. A lime and tomato juice to the Gophers for last weekend. Love tomato juice while doing podcasting. I do. Yep, I'm a little weird. But you're used to that. I've been doing this show forever. Maybe not so much about the lime and tomato juice. That bit kind of started lemon and tomato juice for Timberwolves Explosion, which is, of course, a Friday show. Michigan Tech's Caleb Parker, Minnesota Wild draft pick a couple years ago. 9 points in 30 games, but he's a +6. Spectacular numbers with the Victoria Royals, and won the championship a couple years ago with the Moose Jaw Warriors in the WHL, also known as the Western Hockey League. Aaron Pionk finally getting some points in Duluth. Remember, he was stuck at 1 assist for 20 games or something. Now he's at 7 assists in 28 games for the Minnesota Duluth Bulldogs, and also a Hermantown native, so Duluth-ish around there, of course. -8 on the year for the high-scoring left shot defenseman, formerly high-scoring left shot defenseman. Weird year for him. I don't know what to tell you. Rasmus Kumpalainen hanging out in the ECHL. I always talk about him getting the batting average up. And I'm striking out right now if we want to reference baseball. There we go. It's like nothing was responding. That was annoying. Well, he was almost at a point a game. He's at 16 games down to the ECHL after only 2 assists in 26 games of the Iowa Wild. Getting him down to the Iowa Heartlanders, which is like the AA affiliate now instead of the AAA with the Iowa Wild. 11 points in 16 games. He is a left shot center from Lahti, Finland. He was a second-round pick in 2023. Rasmus Kumpalainen rolls right off your tongue, kind of. He's a +2 also with the Iowa Heartlanders. It's 2 Iowas. 2 Iowas and 2 Wilds. It'll drive you nuts. That's 3 different teams. It's just... Yes, so again, building his confidence in the ECHL. That's the moral of the story with Rasmus Kumpalainen. And we're getting the spinning crap again. Come on. Charlie Stromel continues to kick some butt. Just love it. Love his senior year. Love it. Love the job you're doing, Charlie. Glad you're not on the Badgers anymore. The Badgers. Okay, sorry. I know there might be some Badger fans listening, but I don't know. I'm not a fan of the Badgers. Sorry. Just I'm sure like you're not a fan of the Gophers. They call us rodents. Well, Badgers are rodents too, aren't they? Anyhow, 26 games, 35 points for Charlie Stromel, 16 goals, 19 assists. This is actually his first year with double-digit goals, which is interesting. He's way beyond that. +26, and yes, Michigan State's one of the national powers. And I hate Michigan State, but whatever. God bless them. I don't like Tom Izzo either. That would be the basketball side. I actually like them even less. Well, it's about equal. And the Gophers beat them the other night. Oh my God, was that last night? 10th ranked in the country. Take that, Tom Izzo. It's about damn time. Ugh, Tom Izzo, God. I used to like it. I can't stand him now. He's annoying. He's annoying. I don't like streamer coaches, man. Shut up and sit down. Damn it. Anyhow, Gophers. Excuse me, not Gophers. Charlie Stromel. They could use Charlie Stromel. That would be great. But he's on pace to at least the Iowa Wild, if not the Minnesota Wild. See what happens. Stevie Leskovar, yep, big boy for the most part. Yeah, he's big. He's big. He's mean. He's tough and stuff. He's got 3 points in Iowa. Heartlander land. Iowa Wild, he had 3 games earlier in the year, nothing. Just a -1. Not even a penalty minute. 28 penalty minutes for the Heartlanders. 2 goals, 1 assist in 22 games. I think his chances for the National Hockey League are slim to none, with all due respect. But we'll see. You never know. You just never know. Chase Woodsky, again, facing a firing squad in Moose Jaw because his goals against average is 3.41 with a save percentage of over 91. How is that? Again, it's facing a lot of shots. A lot. So he's actually doing a better job than that goals against average. We'll say, I'm going to defend this kid forever. I'd like to see what he can do at another level at some point coming up. 19 years of age, by the way. So Woodsky's got a whole life ahead of him. God bless you, Chase, and hope to see him moving up. Come on, stop with the spinning wheel stuff, please. Sebastian Soliani, another Finnish guy in the Finnish league, playing some professional Finnish hockey. 32 games on the year, 4 points. He's a right shot defenseman. Hey, it's a career high. It's a career high. What can I say? He's a -2. That's not bad. So it's okay. Keep it up, Sebastian. We'll see what happens with Sebastian Soliani. I'm probably mispronouncing it. Aaron Kiviharu, double digits, baby. Yep, he got out of the single digits. He heard me and he's like, screw you. I'm going to get 2 points this weekend. Well, good, Aaron. Thank you. 33 games, 11 points, -10. -10. 4 goals, 7 assists. Come on. Catch up, dang it. Ryder Ritchie with Boston University. 22 penalty minutes, not 22 points. 13 points in 27 games for Boston University. 19 years of age, from Calgary, Alberta. -3 for Boston University. He did win the championship last year for the Medicine Hat Tigers. Similar to our friend years ago with all those ACLs. Medicine Hat Tigers. Let's see, William Watch, what the hell? Why not? 6 points. I believe he was hurt, but came back. So God bless him. 20 points, or 20 games, 6 points with Vancouver. He's officially got 20 points in the NHL now, after scoring 14 points earlier this season with your Minnesota Wild. Justin Kipke, 20-year-old college player now, of course, again, after spending a number of years with the Victoria Royals. Spectacular numbers there. For Arizona State Sun Devils, he's a -11 and 10 points in 26 games. So, bugger. That's Australian slang, by the way. Means basically like damn it or something. Carter Klippenstein, the horror movie actor. That's what he looks like. Scary looking guy. Scary name, too. 38 points. He's a left shot, left winger. 19 years of age. 38 games, 28 points for the Brandon Wheat Kings. He's a +1, 74 penalty minutes. He's already reached last year's point total, so step forward. Good job, Carter. Hang in there, and please don't beat me up too bad, okay? Scary looking dude. Yep, and you know he's putting muscle on right as we speak. Liam Amadovsky. Lirim Amadovsky, not Liam. Right shot, right winger. North Bay Battalion, very cool name. Ontario Hockey League. 33 points for the right winger, +4 in 46 games. Adam Bennick, the Matt Zuccarello, hopeful. I don't want to call him a wannabe. That sounds mean. Like, oh, he's just a wannabe. No, he's a hopeful. From Pilsen, Czech Republic, Adam Bennick at 5'8", similar to a guy by the name of Matt Zuccarello. Gets tons and tons and tons of assists, 34 on the year in 34 games, an assist a game, +22. This is the Brantford Bulldogs of the Ontario Hockey League. 22 goals, though. He's racking up the goals now. So it was mostly just assist. Like he had 7 assists and 8 points in the World Juniors. Well, he's starting to score goals again. 22 goals for him. Good job, Adam Bennick. So we'll see. The Matt Zuccarello hopeful. Theodore Holkvist, again, I always say this, the youngest player in the entire system, because he turns 19 next year. Turns 19 in June. 3 points at the minor league level, 28 games, not putting the points up at all. So that's where he's at right now at the single A or triple A level, you could say, in Sweden. Played 7 pro games, 1 assist. 13 junior games, 6 assists, and 28 minor pro games, 3 assists, and -13, unfortunately. So definitely you can see the difference versus the pros, the minor pro and the junior. Definitely does pretty well at the junior level, but yeah, definitely got a long way to go. For the 52nd overall pick in the draft, is the Wild did not have a first-round pick last year because we had to get David Juracek, who's probably should be the 5th-round pick the way he's looking. Maybe 6th. I don't know. I'm just kidding. Hopefully Juracek does pan out to some level. Doubtful he'll be like a number 6 overall pick level player, though, with the way things are going. That would be quite a jump. With that, we're going to take a quick break and come back for fan interaction. And we are back for the final segment maybe for a few weeks. Maybe I'll be back for some shorties the next couple of weeks. But I'm kind of thinking, why the hell not? We'll see. To keep up with the youngsters and stuff. I don't know. Why just sit out for like a month? I might not. I don't know. I'll probably sit out a week or two. Who knows? Maybe I shouldn't, though, because DraftKings and all that, they probably would like me to get back on the mic and advertise. It won't be about the Super Bowl, of course. It'll be probably back to regular hockey, I would hope, or Olympic hockey, actually. Go USA, go USA. At Brave the Wild is the Twitter/X for Brave the Wild. Starting the month of February, looks like a bit of comments, which is great. Really appreciate that. Hashtag BTWMN when you comment, communicating with me, because then I can, I can organize things. Just type that in and then press latest, and then everything's in chronological order. And bada bing, bada boom. Fan interaction's a lot easier. Kaprizov parlay last week. This week it was boldly going into the break, or boldly going into the Olympics, because Matt Boldy's going to wear that gold. Damn it. What was I saying? Huge. We'll take it for sure, especially against a club that's had our number for most of our existence. That would be the Calgary Flames. Yep, Jay Bushy responds with, we sure will. Yep, amen, Jay. And apologize for not liking the response there. Really appreciate you always jumping on the show. I mean, I do, with full sincerity. I was saying after tonight's 3 assists, and I may have sounded a little funny here. I feel like, I was like, shoot. Hopefully people didn't make fun of me too bad. I don't think they did, though. Why am I liking my own post? That's kind of weird. Okay, after tonight's 3 assists, that'd be earlier in the week, Quinn Hughes is on pace for 79 points this season, shattering the 51-point team record for a defenseman, which was Ryan Suter in 2015, 2016. God, what's wrong with me, man? My mouth is moving faster than my brain, or vice versa. Brain's trying to move faster than it can. I don't know. Duh. And I was saying, and yes, I know Quinn Hughes had 23 of those points in Vancouver, but still. Derek Felska, Crease Assist Podcast, responds with, Quinn Hughes has far more primary assists than Captain Quick Trip, too. That would, of course, be Ryan Suter with those Quick Trip commercials. The faster we put number 20 to the bottom of the record books, the happier I am. Yep, I agree. Yep, I agree. That's, yeah. With how little of a team player he truly was. I mean, even Michael Russo was kind of taking side swipes at him at times, like this star player on this team was an absolute jackass. Yeah, we know who he meant. I was saying even Brock Faber is projected to edge Ryan Suter's 51 points, which is with a projected 52 this season. And Derek jumps in, again, Crease Assist Podcast, says Faber has more accountability in his pinky finger than Ryan Suter ever had. This team is so much more skilled and dynamic than number 20 and number 9 days. Amen, brother. Yep. Yes, absolutely. Like, there wasn't much accountability. It was just like, oh, he was gassed. Suter was gassed, and that would be Mr. Mike Yeo saying that, not Ryan Suter. Basically, Mike Yeo was basically forced to defend Ryan Suter. Like, oh, he was gassed. Almost like, I left him in too long. Dang it. I responded with amen to that. Faber's actually a team player and wants to win rather than worry about his stats, ice time, and final stay in the locker room. That was probably the biggest part, is the final stay in the locker room. Morty responds with fact. Yep. Well, it is. It is a fact. Yep, great job, Derek there, of course. Crease Assist Podcast, talk about great job. Yeah, it's awesome. It's an awesome show. Do check it out, please. Please. But don't forget about Brave the Wild, though. As long as we're both getting listeners to our shows, great. And God bless you. We both support each other's show. Okay, the poll. Yes. Yep. Okay, the poll. Who projects as the best defenseman in Minnesota Wild history? Feel free to comment. BTWMN, Crease Podcast, please retweet, So the 4 candidates are Quinn Hughes, Ryan Suter, Brock Faber, Jonas Brodin, and yes, I left out Jared Spurgeon, and everyone hates me for it. No, not really. Some people might. So far, Quinn Hughes, and I may come back to this in a couple days, Quinn Hughes winning in a landslide, 78.2%. Second place, Brock Faber. What do you think of that? 16.4%. And I do think he was projecting to be the number 1 guy until Quinn Hughes came. And you know what? I don't think he's complaining because he's doing way better than he would anyway. Last year, Faber struggled a little bit. It was a little bit of a sophomore slump, partially because he was kind of on an island out there at times, and you felt bad for him. So, but clearly when you watched him, and I was at that Ducks game too, and you get to see closely more and more what he can do, and it's like, he's like the best player on the team practically, maybe the second best behind Kaprizov. It's just, like all the little things a guy like Faber does to combine with his actual ability to score underneath all of that, or set up other teammates and such, which is more what defensemen do, especially Hughes. He's got 5 goals, but like 55 assists or something, right? 54. 52 assists. Sorry. Bad math there for a minute. It's it's a spectacular thing to watch. Even when Faber appeared to be struggling, he was clearly like an elite player last year. So, Faber, second place, 16.4. Third place, Jonas Brodin, 3.6. Ryan Suter, 1.8. Ryan Suter, 1.8. It's a decent number of votes. Not that many, but I do appreciate those of you that did retweet. That is awesome. Let's see who they are real quick, just to make sure. If I could click on it, it'd be great, but it's not even letting me. Isn't that stupid? How do I pull that up? I want to see who retweeted, just to be, Okay, repost. Okay, it's repost, retweet. Derek, of course, Chris assist. Thank you so much. Eman Johan, thank you. Jay Bushy, thank you. And Pascal Herstinger, thank you guys. I really appreciate that for retweeting that, and it means a lot. It helps. It generates more for the show, and of course for the poll itself, which is a big part of the show. Morty is on board and says defenseman or one with the most goals and assists. Well, kind of both. I mean, I don't really mean it necessarily points. Derek jumps in and says, obviously it hinges most likely on whether the Minnesota Wild can re-sign him or not. That'd be Faber or Hughes, of course. They did re-sign Faber. If they can't, he'll be a very bright flash to this team's history of defensemen. If he re-signs, he will easily pass Suter and most of the other meaningful records at the position group. Tom Hand says, any other answer other than Quinn Hughes is just plain silly. The man has already won a Norris, and his play has elevated everyone around him. Absolutely, especially Brock Faber. What am I looking at? Sorry. Calaspo says the disrespect to Jared Spurgeon. And that did get retweeted along the way. So I like Jared Spurgeon. I don't really mean to disrespect him. I just thought Brodin's like a cut above slightly Jared Spurgeon. And both of them have had their injury issues. So there's that. Both of them have had their injury issues. So I don't really mean to crap on Jared Spurgeon. I really don't. I think Brodin's like a cut above. That's all. Like a half tier ahead of him, we can say. Whereas, Hughes and Faber are special players for this team. If Hughes leaves, I'm voting for Faber every time. Yeah. And then Spurgeon, I guess, could enter that top 4 again. I don't think Hughes is going to leave, though. I really don't. If he left, I'd be very surprised, actually, because look at what's happening. Just look at what's happening. Why would he leave? Why? It would be horrible if he left. With that said, again, shout-outs to Krezus' podcast. How can you not like that show? But again, don't be forgetting about Brave the Wild. Remember to keep us both in your podcasting queue. Please don't dump me. Don't dump me. I get jealous and I get sad and lonely too. I do. Yes, actually I do. I'm not trying to be sarcastic. I do get sad and lonely if the show gets hurt. So stick around, friends. Please do. Friends and colleagues and comrades, and circle the wagons, as Tom Hand would say. So, circle the wagons is right, dang it. Big shout out to Minnesota Wild Global, of course, and yes, thank you guys for retweeting and the responses. Really appreciate all of you, and we will be we'll see. I'll probably do at least 1 or 2 episodes during the break. Keep up with the prospects and other conversation, just conversation, maybe thoughts that come to mind. North Star this, Minnesota Wild that, Gophers this, Gophers, I don't know, Olympic that. So there should be at least 1 or 2 episodes during this 3-week break. We'll see how it turns up. Otherwise, we will be back shortly, I would like to believe. Wishing all of you a safe and healthy upcoming week or 2 until the next show. And basically, stay healthy and safe all the time, but just generally speaking. And hope to hear from you soon. Thank you so much for listening. Please tell your friends. Put a positive 5-star rating if you could on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Share the show with your friends. Please do. God bless you, and we will talk to you soon.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.